Yeah, why do we do it? Well, simply to help each other, because who else is helping? You know, it's society today, it's lost its way in a lot of ways, and you know, there's a lot of pressures in life, and that causes a lot of anxiety and mental health, and we need places to go, to come to, where old community values to support each other, care for each other, and feel wanted, and talk about our issues. And, you know, it's been highlighted a lot on the TV now, and the NHS Mental Health Trust, they're really struggling to support people, because they've got so many to help, or try to help. And what we've cut backs on that, there's no new people coming in. So a lot of us who have been in mental health, myself included, started up supporting each other in different ways. And now the NHS are knocking down the brick walls and asking us to help them. And for me personally, after all the years I was in mental health, is absolutely wonderful to feel wanted again. You know, before I took ill, I had a quality of life, or I thought I had a quality of life. Worked in London in the building trade, moved to Derbyshire in 1990 with a family. Pressures come up on me, and I'm going to use this as an example to us all. My mum and dad followed me up from London a couple of years afterwards, and it got to about 1995, 96, and all of a sudden my marriage broke down and I was going through a divorce, and found out my dad had got Alzheimer's, and I was looking after him, and I didn't see the warning signs.
I started coming here about 3-4 months back.
Oh, Roy, a bit longer than that, nearly a year now, mate.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, there you go, about a year. Because with my mental health and stuff is not all that good. I've been coming up with suicidal thoughts and stuff, so. But doing this, Ian's actually helping me to come about that and support me with it, so it's not, so I can keep on top of it.
Yeah, I've been involved here about 7 years, and then when he started in the shop down the road, stuck in a corner, I got more involved. And then as he's progressed and moved up here, I'm even more involved because I do church on the street.
This is our Barry, Baz. First met Barry, how long ago? It must have been 4 or 5 years ago. And I always say, I think Barry said to me, this chap is art and minds, this chap is amazing. I couldn't do what I do without him. He is so supportive. How he puts up with me, I do not know. He did have long hair, loads of it when he first met me. So I didn't see the warning signs, I got selfish, I went on the booze more, and then in '97 it built up to a crescendo, and one Sunday morning after dropping my dad off back at my mum's, I went home and snapped. I smashed up the place, I was out of control, I didn't know what was happening to me, I was scared stiff. And I went to the local petrol station, bought a load of tablets and tried to kill myself. My oldest daughter found me wandering around the streets crying. And I often think now, how's it left her over the years? You know, if she ever gets problems or suffers with depression or whatever, am I partly to blame for that? And I have to live with that. But anyway, when I woke up, I was in A&E, and they told me that I'd had a breakdown and I needed a rest. So I was going to go to the psychiatric ward, Hartington, and that's when I was escorted down into the darkness, as I thought it was, by 2 security guards. And I went on the wards, I was out of my depth. I had a stigma against mental health. I'll tell you what, I soon lost that stigma. All those lost souls in there, I've become one of them. I've become a lost soul. But they're the greatest family I've ever had. We had nothing in there except ourselves. People didn't understand us. 99% of the people in there had traumas, different things happened to them in families. Even people that needed to have a rest and have a good sleep for a few days, you know. But we give each other what we had, which was nothing. And it opened my eyes up over the years. I mean, I saw people set light to themselves. I've had knives stuck to my throat, and they all become best friends. And the staff as well. I mean, when I look at the time, you think nothing's helping you, nobody's supporting you. But when I reflect now that I've recovered, how much support there was there. And after a few weeks, I went down to the hub, which they had an art room there, bless them, and an OT, who art therapist, encouraged me to go down there. And I always loved art as a kid. And so what happened then was I went down and I was quite happy in there. They could see it work for me. So then they said, after a few weeks, keep coming down here and express yourself through your artwork. We can see it works for you. Go now since we're back, Dave.
Well, it's just over a year.
Just over a year.
It's only a year.
I know it feels like 50.
He does, doesn't he? He gives that impression though, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. Well, Dave,
As you can see, we love each other dearly.
Yeah.
We're not the same though, aren't we? Everybody that comes in.
Yeah, it's a big dysfunctional family.
Yeah.
so Dave helps Artists and Sculptors so much. He's another one of our inspirations. And tell us a bit more, Dave. Tell us what it's done for you, mate.
Well, I literally popped into Arts and Minds about a year ago. I put a lot of my artwork on Instagram, and Baz from Art and Minds messaged me and said, "Oh, I've noticed you're in Killamarsh, you should pop in, we love your work." So eventually I popped in, met Ian. I only popped in for 10 minutes. I was there all day. I literally, the only time that I stopped was I went home, got some lunch and brought a load of my artwork back, and now
We give you a key the same day, didn't we?
yeah, I've got a key. I've drilled holes.
I've got a key.
Hey, we've all got keys. So if anything goes missing, we blame Ian. But yeah, so for me it's a godsend. So what I'll do is, if I'm having a bit of a tough time, I have my struggles with mental health. Sometimes I go in when it's shut and I'll literally just sit in there and I'll make something. So when I started coming along about a year ago, I couldn't do anything with wood, but now I make items for sale, you know, banners and all sorts of things. So it's just introduced me to given me a lot of confidence. So I've had my own solo exhibition at West Studio in Chesterfield through me being introduced to them. I've actually taught printmaking there as well. And I've seen him grow. He's grown tremendously through his mental health and out of his mental health. He's developed himself in a new way, and his Christian faith has grown, and it's been great for me to grow alongside him, because I've grown as well. You can't help but grow if you're involved in these situations. And today I came in this morning, but I had to go and see a friend, and Mummy, if he didn't want to offload, because he's got issues, and what I've learned here, you can transfer, and that's really important to me, and it's important to them as well. Since you've been poorly, you've been suffering with a bit of depression, haven't you?
I think so, I don't.
And you've been upset of a night time, but you come in here during the day and you're happy, aren't you?
Yes, I do.
Well, you enjoy coming in here, don't you?
I do, because when I go home I cry. Oh, then Barry. But when I come in here, don't they help hard?
Is there any work in here at the moment that shows then what you've done?
There's the Angel of the North that's on the shelf, so
Right.
I made that out of chicken wire.
That is really impressive.
It is, I made that, how long was that I made that, Ian?
That could have been 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah, at least that.
It come to life when you sprayed it, didn't it, mate?
It did, yeah. It didn't look much until I sprayed it, and then it just looks astounding when I've done it. So
Why did you choose Angel at North then as a piece to do?
it was easier to do it, and because it was just like a mini version to the big one as up in Yorkshire.
Well, there's something significant about an angel.
It's
The fact.
just the way it is. He's guiding me, looking after me and stuff, with me health at the moment and stuff. So they're just helping me to get over what I'm feeling and stuff. And Ian's helping to encourage me.
Yeah.
So it was just something I first started with, to do things with my hands, and then I'll just gradually work from there. So it makes a big difference.
So you've had a bit of a journey then, haven't you? And you're sort of feeling like you're seeing light at the end of the tunnel now.
Just a bit, yeah. I've been seeing the dark side, and then I've come into the light a bit, and getting into that a little bit. So, which is not too bad. Getting there.
That's cool. Thank you so much for talking.
You're welcome. No problem.
When I was discharged after a few weeks, they told me to go to Chesterfield College, where we've had the exhibition, and this was 21 years ago, to do an access mature student, and that's when my journey started. That's when the light came on, because I'm still doing the art. Sometimes over the years I would be in and out of hospital with bad traumas, and sometimes I would be living on the wards, the psychiatric hospital, but going to uni by then as the years went on, and the access course at the Chesterfield College, and going back to the hospital for night time to live. And when I think back, it works, because though I didn't realise it at the time, there was domestics asking me, well, what have you done today, and show me what you've done. Other patients, doctors, nurses, everybody took part, and we would all look at the art, bit of banter, have a laugh. And I didn't realise it was working at the time, but it must have worked, because I didn't give in. I must have kept it going. And of course that's what we do now in here. It's a very typical Cockney way.
Yeah.
But the best quote I think she ever come out with, well, it wasn't a quote, it was a story, was during the Second World War, when she was a young kid. Me nan and my mum were going down St John's Wood High Street shopping, and a German fighter plane come over, and you hear these stories of, and he saw him moving, and he just started shooting at him, because he got ammo left.
Yeah.
And my nan shouted out to my mum's name was Mavis, Maeve, run. So I ran him down the road, and these bullets had followed him, and all of a sudden she said to me, Mum, on the ground, and she shoved her on the ground, and my nan dived on top of her to protect her from the bullets, and the bullets just went all the way around her. And my nan was protecting my mum by laying on top of her. And I said to my mum, oh, Mum, that was horrendous. Wasn't you scared? No, son, I wasn't scared. The only thing that scared me was being suffocated by my mother. Do you know what I mean? And I say, it's things like that banter. You get over things. I was just saying about Roy, since he's come to us, like everybody that's come in the shop, we've all become a family, we've all become good friends, and we help each other. We're all individuals, so everything you see in here, there's somebody would like. But having people like Roy coming in and saying these kind words, it just inspires us all. And him and his wife Tina, they're a joy to have with us. And of course it helps us as much as it helps them. Yeah. I think our David. Julie's part of our Hearts and Minds, plays a huge part in it, though she's too modest to say. Julie runs a knitting group on here for the well-being of local ladies on a Monday. Plays a big part of our minds. Dave's here, Dave the Print, who you would have seen in the film up at the years. Between us, it's working, it's really working, and we love Julie, we we love a family, and you can see it because the amount of people are coming in and talking and having a cup of tea, a good chat, and their well-being really is improving. I've definitely seen people's well-being in the last year or so coming in here, coming to Artists, absolutely changed. That's just what we need. Right.
To people and opening up to people and sharing what I'm with Ian, talking to Ian about me issues I have, and it just helps me get through the day.
We do all these recovery clinics and with the NHS, and lately we've started with the OTs around the Killamarsh mental health team who've let us in now, which is brilliant. We're doing a Creative Minds workshop for 12 weeks. We're starting in Cresswell next Monday actually. And that is a pioneering thing we're doing with the local young OTs. Now the young OTs coming into the NHS are amazing. They are fresh air, they are a future.
So I heard you sanding something down at bike when I
Yeah,
come
I'm
in.
doing bits of wood at the moment for me cricket men. I'm sanding some wood for putting some wickets and some men on a bit of board, on a bit of wood for for March when we go down to West Studios.
Oh, for the big exhibition?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Ian was chatting about that earlier on, and I think it's going to be really, really cool.
Yeah,
and,
that's what I'm doing at the moment.
I think he's planning on filling all 4 rooms, aren't you, Ian?
Yeah.
For that exhibition again.
At least 4, so that's what I'm working on.
Exhibition at West Studios, which were inspired, I guess, by what Ian did.
Yeah, so Ian had his exhibition there, and I said to him shortly after, I said I would love to do a solo exhibition there, and he said actually they have inquired as to whether you would be interested, but I didn't really have the confidence to put myself forward, and Ian didn't want to rush me, so he waited till I was ready, and I did one, and it went really well. So I did 3 weeks, just fantastic, met people, actually sold quite a lot of artwork. It was just amazing seeing people walk around and sort of looking at the work that I've got. In fact, I've got 3 pieces in an open exhibition now at the moment. So I've sort of kept it going as well. But yeah, so a lot of it is just the support that I get from Ian and Baz. They're brilliant.
Yeah.
What I like about Dave's work is, like you said, it's like anything, it's building confidence, isn't it? And it's trying new things. You come out of your comfort zone, what you used to do, say in artwork or creativity. But even if you go back into your comfort zone, you take something back with you and you start using it without realising.
I think he's an amazing man, and I can't be thankful enough for him being in our lives, because he's made a difference.
Yeah.
Him and Barry are there's just something about him, they draw you to him, don't they?
Yeah.
I think serious note, he's been a real good friend to lots and lots of people, and he helps everybody even without realising it.
We're still here, mates. Yeah, we sit out here a lot. It's been great during the summer.
I'm retired now. I've lived in Killamarsh for almost 40 years, and I first met Ian. He used to come down to the Methodist Chapel that's on Sheffield Road, and he started off doing butterflies, and so the butterflies, he made them, and he used to put them on people's lapels. I used to walk around the chapel on a Thursday when it's a coffee morning, and he used to walk round and he used to put these. He used to be sat making them, and he used to come round, and it might be ladybirds, it might be butterflies or things like that, and he'd push them onto your lapel, and then after a space of time decided to take a shot just down there, further and further along. He's very, very successful. Not only does this with Arts and Minds, he also goes to Chesterfield, and he has some work groups there where he does a lot of work there. he sells a certain amount of stuff here, and he also makes things specially.
A lot of things, Barry's very quiet, not very loud, but we've both been through the mental health in different ways, so we understand each other. But having somebody like Barry that's passionate in what he does, the same as I am, it's so important for what we do now. Like we was talking earlier on, we do recovery clinics for the mental health teams. Barry just keeps me asking about things. Yeah, let's look at this way here. You know what I mean? Let's look at it, take it on point. Of course, he's a brilliant artist as well, and we actually share a lot of our artwork. We do a lot of artwork together, but we see things in different ways, and we've got that freedom, and we want to keep that freedom. It's very hard as you get a bit bigger to keep that freedom, but it's working. But it's people like, if I didn't have Barry with me, it wouldn't be so successful, and it wouldn't be helping so many people. What I do personally with their benefit forms like PIP and the ESA and University Credit, we help them fill in their forms, because that system got a bit silly, and while it's sorting itself out, people need support. And a lot of times the right things haven't been put down when people are very poorly, and they've come away from these assessments wanting to do away with themselves. I mean, that happened to me years ago, and it's still happening, and come on, there's about time we grew up. So we help people with their forms. We go on face-to-face assessments with them. He's out the back, darling. He's out the back, yeah. And then we do assessments. We support people at the job centre with universal credit. The job centres have really come on board, and we'll help each other out. We give presentations, and they support us. And then we also, let's say, public health have come on board. We help them, and they help us. And then we even sometimes, when people are very ill and want to do away with themselves, we'll go down to A&E with them and stop with them until they're seen by the mental health liaison teams. And that way we're learning new things all the time. But times are changing the system, but people are starting to wake up now, starting to open their eyes. And it's good. It's good. What we do now, we're networking with about 200 people now. The word's got out in Leeds. It's got out it's got out in Rotherham through people that come in here who work in them places. So it's making that awareness. It's the networking. Most of our work now, 50% of our work is networking. But those words that have gone out into Leeds and those words that have gone out into Rotherham, by next year I'm hoping they're going to make sentences. And we're going to do a big art exhibition next year where everybody who's involved with Arts and Minds, it could be doctors, nurses, Joe Bloggs on the street, anybody that cares about and helps us what we do, can put their artwork, whether it's knitting, baking cakes, putting big pictures up. It's to show people out there that together doing activities and creativity is a good medicine, it's a good therapy. And how you express yourself and how you talk through what you do together. And we want that to go viral as well, because it works. We're proof of it. And the main thing is we're here to give people hope. And you'll talk to other people, it's saving their lives. And if I didn't do this, I could easily relax. I don't want to go back to them old days. Friends, so many loved ones, it opened my eyes so much to now, as I said before, I thought I had a quality of life before I took ill, but now after 21 years I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life. And I've lost a lot of loved ones that took their own lives or just give up, but they're with me all the time, they're with us all, with their voice. And I slowly recovered, moved to Killamarsh 7 years ago. Got in with other people that accepted me, including the church, who played a big part of me having faith. Got in touch with local people in the community, started making little butterflies in the coffee mornings, and then they've come into all this. And then we had an art group, for everybody, not just mental health, but everybody. And then from that had to close for a while because there was a couple of issues. We started Art Minds with Barry, and it's a place for people to come in with social isolation, loneliness, mental health. It is a sanctuary. It is a place that is helping people. It's giving people hope. And of course, because we've been through the mental health severely, I think I've done about 10 suicide attempts over the year. I think, except for the first one, the others were really a cry for help, because I knew how many tablets it would take me to do away, but I never took enough. And I think the next serious one was in 2008 when I laid on an oncoming truck in Homewood on the road in the truck stop. Is that your mind tells you what to do. When your mind's really ill, people say, oh, you're selfish, or you're not thinking, you've got family. But if your mind tells you to do something, you do it. Unless you're in that position, you don't know. And sometimes it's too late for a lot of people. I went into that pit, and there's a sub-basement in that pit, yeah? And I found a lot of amazing people that shouldn't be there. There's no ladder out. You have to help each other, and they show you a door down there to come through. And that door's when I come to Killamarsh. And I brought a lot. And, but as I say, in 2008, I laid on that truck, and all the people come out of the shops, and they're all talking and gossiping about me. And then the police come along who knew me from previous other attempts. Come on in, let's get you up. And I'm effing and blinding and telling them to get back in their shop. The one funny thing that still makes me laugh, if there is a funny thing about it, was for weeks later I was nicknamed as the traffic warden because I stopped the traffic for half an hour. Anyway, so they got me up, I'm still shouting and swearing at all the crowd, well, go and get back into your second-rate shops. I mean, they were my mates, you know. I thought, oh, here we go. But then all of a sudden, there was one face in the crowd. There was about 50 people there, all around. I'd had enough. I'd lost a mate who took his life on the railway lines when he asked for help and nobody listened, and that was just a tipping point. I thought, sod it, I'm going. But I looked around and I was swearing and effing and blinding, and there was one face in the crowd. There was one face that looked concerned. There was one face that had tears in their eyes. And one face that looked very serious with those tears in her eyes. And when I looked, it was my younger daughter in her 20s, Joanne, watching her dad. It hurts at the time, but of course at the time I was still on medication and I was slightly drugged up anyway. But now it hurts even more. Now I've recovered, and I'm so passionate what I do, to want to help people and love everybody with mental health.